Hello and welcome to Glasgow Rangers Nation with me, your host, Erin James, a channel that brings you all the latest Rangers news, guys. I hope you had a cracking Christmas day yesterday. Hope you had good fun with your families. Hope it was all good for you. Right, guys, it is match day. It is Boxing Day, obviously, here in the UK, and it is match day. Rangers travelling to Paisley to take on St Mirren in the 5:45 kickoff, I think it is, tonight, this evening. It's a Thursday evening, guys. That's got to bode well, hasn't it? Surely that's got to bode well. I mean, we all know how much Rangers love a Thursday evening. I mean, let's face it, just play the Europa League anthem, and we should absolutely wipe the floor with them. Even though it's away, yeah, it's a 5:45 kickoff. We're going to talk obviously about a bit of build up towards the game tonight. We're going to talk about Václav Cerny, the effect he's had on Rangers after I think, less than auspicious start. I mean, I think if you look at Cerny and the way he started, there was a lot of fans questioning him and saying that he needed to be sent back to Wolfsburg. What a name for a team. We're also going to talk about Oscar Cortes as well. And we've got obviously some injury news updates around some of the players who will not be available for today's game, this evening's game even. But just a heads up for you on the channel today, we've got a few things going on for you on the channel today. Obviously, later we've got our game here. We'll be live from about 5:30 here on the channel for St Mirren versus Rangers here on Glasgow Rangers Nation. But if you want to watch, if you want to come and join me for another live watch along over on the Football Podcast channel, Football Podcast Erin James channel. I'll drop a link in the description to this video. We've got the live watch along of the Edinburgh Derby as well. That's a 12:30 kickoff, so come and join us for that. Right, let's have a little look, shall we, at some news around the team. So let's start off with some team news. And then we'll talk about Václav Cerny, and then we'll talk a little bit about Oscar Cortes. Well, obviously, the big team news is the fact that these four players are definitely out of today's game. We knew, obviously, Nusnarasheyu Casanwejo. I must admit, I forgot his first name on there. Forgot how to spell it. Just decided to go with Casanwejo. Should have gone with Nana, shouldn't I? The other name. Or Big Cass. But yeah, he's out. We know that. He's pretty much done for the season. We know that. We know probably not going to see him in a Rangers shirt again. So, look, I mean, I think we should kind of start to disregard him in terms of team news. Obviously, he's done, isn't he? I mean, he's gone for the season. And it's a shame because he was a top player, a really good player. Tom Lawrence is out as well. Apparently, he's making his way back to fitness. I've got to say on the Tom Lawrence thing, I think if you bring him back into the team in the 10 role, I think it will just really counteract the development the team have made. I think, he'll slow the play down. He won't be able to vary the pace and vary the attack the way that Hadji does and Bayrami does. I mean, I think he will come straight back into the starting 11 because the manager seems to really like him. I also think he'll get a new contract as well. I think he'll get a new 2-year deal, if I'm being honest with you. Big mistake, huge mistake if they give him a new 2-year contract. I think it'd be a massive, massive error. I'd personally try and get some money from him in January. If we can't, just let him go at the end of the season. He's too injury prone. He's too slow now. I just don't rate the guy anymore. Rabbi Matondo obviously is continually out. Another player as well who is making his way back to fitness. And I think it's another player that we do need to be looking to move on in January. For me, though, the biggest miss out of all the names on that page there is John Souttar. I think John Souttar has been our best defender this season by an absolute country mile. He leads the defence. He's kind of the defensive captain in a way. The way he puts his body on the line to block, his tackles, he's brilliant in the air, his aerial duels, I think he's in the 95th, 96th percentile. He's a top player. It's not just that, but it's the way he brings the ball out from the back, which also helps to break the lines, which helps to break the block. The others can't. So, I think not having John Souttar is going to be a big miss again for Rangers. And I think for me, the big drive between now and the 2nd of January against Celtic has to be to get John Souttar fit and get him back in the team because, I think he is absolutely crucial as a part of that defensive pairing. And, Dujon Sterling is a quality defender, don't get me wrong, as is Leon Balogun, as, Robin Propper is seemingly developing. But none of them are in the class of John Souttar. He is the best central defender we have at the club, and we need our best players available for that absolutely critical match on the 2nd. So that's the big, obviously, news that players that are missing. Now, obviously, we've got Oscar Cortes coming back. I want to get to him at the end of the video, so hang on to that. We will talk a little bit of Cortes. We're going to talk a little bit about Václav Cerny. Now, when Václav Cerny first, sort of started, we had the initial goal against, I think it was against Motherwell, that sort of kind of everyone was like, it's the Czech Robin, wasn't it? That was a quote that was doing the rounds at the time. And then he kind of had the Lyon miss, didn't play well against them, and was poor, was genuinely very poor. And there was a lot of fans kind of saying that he was a waste of time, he was a one-trick pony, he was a poor player. Let's cancel his loan, let's send him back, let's get rid. I think, looking back in reflection, I think it's very good news that we didn't get rid of Václav Cerny, and he's looking one of our better players, one of our top level players this season. It's not just his ability to obviously cross the ball, which he's now seemingly doing with his right and his left foot. His ability to take shots, score goals, create for others. His link play with Hadji is excellent. His link play with Danilo and Hamza is also very good indeed. I think he helps out Tav to some extent as well. I mean, if we look at his stats from this season, that's not his. That's someone else's. That's a bit of a mistake. That was. Here we go. Here's his stats. This is Cerny's stats. Stats of Václav Cerny, 24-25. Premiership, he's played 14 games, 7 goals, 1 assist. Now, I mean, a goal every other game, a goal every 146 minutes from the wing, is a very, very good record indeed. You'd kind of look, wouldn't you, at your strikers getting your goals. And I think, his record is absolutely superb. It really genuinely is. So, you've got to give him a whole lot of credit for me for that, for that scoring rate. And also, we've got the assists as well, 1 assist. I think, you can kind of be factoring in a few more bits and pieces in there with sort of the link play that's led up to goals being scored. He is a quality player. And 8 goal contributions in 14 this season in the league. Europa League wise, 6 appearances, 3 goals, 2 assists. So again, 5 goal contributions in Europe is absolutely excellent at the highest level. That is brilliant. Really is very, very good indeed. Champions League qualifiers, 2 appearances, 1 assist. League Cup, 4 appearances, 2 assists. So, overall this season, 26 appearances, 10 goals, 6 assists, 16 goal contributions in 26, a goal every 187 minutes from the wing. I think he's good, and he's doing what what we wanted him to do, which was kind of chip in, wasn't it, with those with those extra goals from midfield that we were kind of so badly lacking last season. Well, I mean, we had Abdallah Sima, but that was pretty much it. So I suppose he's seeing that we don't really miss Abdallah this year, which is really good news. Now, Václav spoke to the media ahead of the game this evening, or whatever you want to call 5:45 pre-evening. I don't know what it's called. Anyway, what did he have to say? He said that it's been going. He talked about obviously the development and the improvement in performances, and he was asked about what he put that down to. And he spoke about that. He spoke about obviously looking forward to today's match, and kind of pushing to aside the questions that were kind of trying to get sort of crowbarred in there about the Old Firm game on the 2nd. He said that it's been going great now. I just wanted to continue with that, but most importantly, we're in a good flow as a team as well. Let's keep that going. It was very important for us to get a win, to get back on track with winning games, and we did, and that was the main thing. I mean, obviously that's in reference to the defeat in the League Cup final. He was questioned about, was it important to get that victory after that disappointment? And I think, yeah, of course it was. After you lose a game, I mean, I don't suppose we did lose, but you didn't really lose. If you get what I mean, losing on penalties is such a lottery. In proper game time, it actually ended as a draw, the game. So it's a difficult one, that one, isn't it? But I suppose it's still a defeat, isn't it, at the end of the day, before some Celtic fan accuses me of trying to claim a moral victory again. And it is going well now. It is going a lot better now. We are seeing better calibre of play. We are seeing better performances on the field overall from Rangers. So I think that's a positive, isn't it? That is a big positive. And we do, as Cerny said, need to keep that going. He was asked, obviously, about the Old Firm game on the 2nd of January. And he said, Old Firm? He said, there are 2 big games before that. It's in a very tight schedule, to be honest. And I think everybody in the dressing room feels the same way. But we need to be ready for those 2. Then there is the 3rd one on the 2nd of January. First 2 big games before that. I don't think it was very difficult for us in the end to move on from the final, because we are professionals and we know that every game is very important, which is true. Big disappointment, was there. But in football, you need to be able to move on quick. And we did that. There is another game and 2 important games before that. And then there is another one. The schedule is obviously very tough, and we just need to be really focused on the recoveries and just keep the flow, because the team is doing very well and we're all almost fit. We will need every single player from the squad because it's really killing. It's a nice period because it's going to be the first time for me playing during Christmas, so looking forward to that. But the body needs that to be ready for that. He's right. It is a very intense period over the Christmas and New Year. And I suppose if you come from Europe and playing in Europe where there is that winter break, you're not used to that, are you? And you're not used to a game sort of every 3 days. And I had someone comment the other day on a video going, we don't play every 3 days. Yes, we fucking do play 3 times a week up until February. Go and read the schedule. So before you come on and question me on that, actually go and do your research. If you want to talk crap, go watch some other channel. Yeah, we do play 3 times a week. Up until February, and then obviously it does ease off a little bit, obviously with the Europa League games as well towards the end of January. So it is a massively intense period, but we're going to be going through it. And Cerny's right, your body will be on the line, it will be a test. But the players have got a good flow on, and I think that's something we need to keep on with. And this is a positive. This is a big positive. Now, he's obviously as well paid tribute to Philippe Clement and the effect he's had on his game. He said, the relationship with me and him is great. As I said last time that we talked, he's helped me so much, and we actually continue to do that. If you remember, I said I want to do everything to give it back to him, to the boys on the team and to the club. Since I've got here, I've enjoyed it very much, even with the ups and downs a few months ago. That is my only job for this year, to give everything for this club, to this manager and to those guys. So it's clear that obviously there is an excellent relationship there between Cerny and Clement, and Cerny is very much driven towards actually, succeeding for the team and succeeding for the manager. And look, his stats are good this year. He's been a very good player. I suppose the big concern for me is the fact that, I think at the end of the season, we will genuinely really struggle to hang on to Cerny. I think, Wolfsburg, given his excellent form and given how he's been playing, and with the fact there is no option or obligation to buy in his contract, his loan agreement with Wolfsburg, I think you will either see him return to Wolfsburg and play for them, or them try to obviously get somewhere between 8, 10, 11 million pounds for him, which is obviously way out of our current budgetary limits at this point in time. But, very, very good indeed from Václav Cerny, and promising, quality player, and hope that he's able to play all the games over this period, because realistically, we have not got another option for him. Nothing against Ross McCausland, but he's just not in the same class as Václav Cerny. Especially as St Mirren away will be tough. Motherwell away at Fir Park will be tough. Then it's Celtic, and then it's Hibs away, who are resurgent at the moment. You've got a difficult run of games, and we need Václav Cerny fit, firing for all those games. I mean, he just helps to open up. He can go either way. It's like I said, he can thread a ball through. He creates, and he at the moment, I just feel that when a chance falls to him, he will take it. He will not miss it. He will take it, or it will take a brilliant save from the goalkeeper to keep that ball out. And that's what we need in this team at this present moment in time. Right, let's move on. On the other side, obviously, Nadim Bayrami's been playing left wing. We've had Hadji on the left wing. We've had Danilo on the left wing. Hamza on the left wing. We've had a number of people. Ridvan on the left wing. Tiefte on the left wing. A number of players trying to fulfill that position that kind of Oscar Cortes was bought for. Now, when Oscar went down injured near the start of the season, obviously it was bad news, really bad news. This is clearly a very, very talented footballer, skillful, direct, quick, attacking. Again, another player capable of taking a shot, capable of going both ways. Looks a quality footballer. In his back history in terms of his play is excellent. He really impressed for Colombia at the under 18 or 16 or 21 World Cup. I can't remember which one it was now. He was one of the best players in that tournament. So this lad has clearly got something about him. But I think, like most Rangers fans, we're very, very frustrated with his lack of availability. The fact that he's missed an awful lot of games this season, and has in his time at Rangers. Obviously, he went down injured last season at Killy. Missed a number of games there. He's obviously missed a substantial number of games this season. I mean, in fact, he's only played 3 times this season, and he's only amassed 111 minutes. 1 League Cup appearance and 2 Premiership appearances. That is it. Nothing else. It's a very sparse record. His overall appearances in the time that he's been here for Rangers, again, he is massively sparse. 10 appearances, 1 goal, 2 assists. Now, we can debate all we want the merits or the rights or the wrongs of signing this guy, but we are going to sign this guy. He's on the same deal that Dio was on. It's a loan with an obligation to buy, so there will be obviously money paid towards this deal in January, and then obviously the money completed in the summer. So to secure him long term. So look, we have got this player now. He is, like I said, he has suffered from a number of injuries. Clement has said, in press conferences leading up to this game that he needs to be careful with bringing him back, that he needs to give him the best possible chance to rehab so that there's no reoccurrence of the injuries. Now, I'm hoping that whatever has caused the last couple of injuries, in the thigh, in the knee area, that we have got to the bottom of those injury problems and we have kind of solved those injury problems, because this lad is a very talented footballer. He's a very good footballer. And, I think the more time he has out, it really damages the club. Of course it does. It really genuinely does. I mean, he missed 11 games, it was last season, 11 games in total, and he's already missed a substantial number this season, which is a worry. Of course it is. So I am hoping that whatever is the issue around this muscle and these knee injuries that he's getting, he is still quite young. Hopefully it's there's some sort of issues around, I don't know, it won't be growing pains because I don't think he can grow anymore, but, muscle development, in terms of muscle strengthening, hopefully that's something the medical staff and the fitness and conditioning staff can work on and get him round. Because the lad is clearly talented. The lad is clearly a very good footballer. And the more talent we have and the more options we give Clement to call upon, the more opportunities we have to be successful. And I think, Cortes, for me, looks a top player. Like I said, if you go back to that Hearts game last season, for example, he looked quality in that game. He looked absolutely top notch. He really did. And I genuinely hope that we, get to see him reproduce that on a consistent basis. It needs to be on a consistent basis. It needs to be, it needs to be that now that we see him for a run of games. Now, in terms of today's game, I don't think that the lad starts. I genuinely don't think he starts. I honestly believe that he will come off the bench. I think we will see him get some time in the game. We have to start seeing him get some time, for me. Not having him there is a big issue. I think, we do need that natural balance. He will bring that natural balance, and it will then allow Hadji and Bayrami to be used more in that central 10 role where they're most effective. It is time, I think, over these next couple of games to start to see him play 10 minutes here, 15 minutes there, 20 minutes there. I wouldn't be risking him in the Celtic game unless he comes into these two games and absolutely blows the world apart. That's in the Celtic game. I think that's too critical. But these games here against St Mirren, against Motherwell, against Hibs, against these necessary, what I would call weaker teams in the SPL, they're the ones where we should be trying and bringing him back and giving him 15, 20 minutes, trying to get some minutes into his legs to get his match fitness back up again. And still, obviously, being very, very careful with him. And you've also got the worry, haven't you? As we always do, when we're playing some of these teams, that our players will get the crap kicked out of them, because that does seem to be the one thing that a lot of teams like to do. And that's how a lot of injuries come, because our players do get kicked a lot by opposition players. That is a worry, obviously. But, we do need to start seeing Cortes play minutes over these next couple of games. Now, in terms of what the team will be tomorrow, I mean, look, as well as I do that trying to call Philippe Clement's team is one of the hardest things to do out there, isn't it? It really genuinely is. But I honestly believe that we need to not see Dessers tomorrow. I mean, I just think if Dessers starts tomorrow, it will be an absolute massive error by Clement when he's got Danilo and Hamza. I don't think he starts with Danilo and Hamza both tomorrow because it's an away game. I think he starts with one of them. I mean, I think it may be Hamza, although I do think Hamza may need a rest. I would personally start with Danilo, but I don't think he will. It's just as long as he doesn't start with Dessers. If I see Dessers' name on that team sheet when it's announced at 4:30 tomorrow, I'll be suicidal. After the day I've had today, I want to cry. I really genuinely will. But this is my team this is what I think Clement will do in the game. I think he'll go with Butland, Tav, Sterling, Proper and Kiefte as the back five. Sterling did very well in central defence, so I do think he'll start, and I think he'll use Balogun on Sunday. Put Proper back in there. Hiefte, I think, will start left back again, as he does seem to really favour him. I think we'll see Raskin and Barron. Personally, I'd rather not see that. I'd rather see Dio in there. I just think it's too defensive with both of them in there. But I think with it being away from home, he will use Raskin and Barron. Hadji will play either on the left or in the 10 role. Bahrami will play either on the left or in the 10 role. Cerny on the right and Hamza down the middle. That's how I think he might line. That's a 95% percenter. You could change for Danilo for Hamza. You could change perhaps the Diamande for Hadji or Bahrami. I don't know. But I do think that team will look something like that when it's announced. You know, like I said, prediction-wise, I think it'll be tight. I think it will be tough. I think it'll be 3-1 Rangers. But that's just my predictions, guys. Anyway, look, we've got the live watch-along later, so please come and join us for that. Just a reminder what we've got coming up today. We've got the live watch-along of St Mirren versus Rangers from 5:30 here on the channel, so come and join us for that. We've also got the Hearts Hibs live watch-along on the football podcast as well, so come and join us for that. Thanks for watching Glasgow Rangers Nation, guys. As always, on the way out, if you could smash the like, sub, comment, share, do all that brilliant stuff. But remember always, we are the people.